BT's Body and Balance is sponsored by Canada Diagnostic Centres, offering MRI, X-ray, and ultrasound services in Calgary and Okotoks.
Well, really appropriate given the forecast now. Skin cancer, the most common kind of cancer, yet it is preventable. For Sun Awareness Week, health specialist Leah Sarich is here now with why it's so important to protect ourselves and our kids from the sun.
And
for
sure.
more and more coming out about this.
Absolutely, and this is why I talk about it every year, because this is one of those cancers that we can actually prevent if we just take the necessary precautions. So I spoke with dermatologist Dr. John Arlette about this, and he explains we have to be particularly careful here in Calgary for two main reasons. One, because we do have so much sunshine here in Calgary all year round. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing is because of our elevation. So we're so high up, we're sitting at 3,500 feet here in Calgary, and he basically says that the exposure increases 10% with every 1,000 feet. So we are so much higher than a lot of other places in the country. And then if we go to the mountains, of course, we're even higher. So we have to keep that in mind for sure. And why? Of course, because skin cancer is all about cumulative damage. So this is damage that occurs slowly over the years, and which gradually degenerates the skin over time toward cancer-causing changes in the skin. And he basically explains there are three kinds of skin cancer.
Basal cell carcinoma is the most common form of skin cancer in the world. Squamous cell carcinoma is the second most common, and melanomas are the third most common. Now, we have the greatest difficulty with our patients who have melanomas, but basal cell carcinomas can be destructive as well, and it depends where it occurs. If it's on the end of your nose, then that part of your skin has to go away. If it's in the corner of your eye or on your lower eyelid, that part has to go away in order to cure the cancer. While the chance of it spreading inside the body is small, it's definitely not zero. And it's not something that you want to leave alone.
No, it certainly isn't. So that's Dr. Arlette there looking at skin cancer right there on his microscope from one of his patients. So he says what you want to do is you want to keep an eye on your moles and really keep three things in mind. So if you see a new mole, that's something to watch. If it's growing or if it looks unusual, that's when you want to see your doctor and get those moles checked. And if you're still concerned after seeing your doctor, that's when you want to talk to your doctor about a referral to a dermatologist. But of course, we can prevent these skin cancers by being sun safe. So Dr. Arlette recommends wearing protective clothing, including a hat that covers your ears, seeking out shade, being aware of the time of day. So just make a mental note of when you're going out there and what you need to do. And of course, wearing the appropriate sunscreen.
You want to use at least a number 30 sunscreen. The 30 applies to the amount of protection from UVB, the burning rays of sunlight. But you want something that is a broad spectrum sunscreen that also protects against the UVA or the aging rays of the sunshine, which also perpetuate and worsen the sun damage from the direct exposure. So look for a sunscreen with at least a number 30. When you apply it, you have to put on enough to make a difference. So application for a face is about a teaspoon is enough. For a whole body of exposed area, you're really looking at 2 tablespoons.
Yeah, so think about that. When you think about how much you're putting on there, if you're putting it on your body, you're thinking about the size of a golf ball. Right? So that's quite a bit. That's probably more than we think of when we think of putting sun on. So think about the size of a golf ball. And of course, you're looking for that UVA, UVB protection on the bottle. And you're also looking for that Dermatology Association logo. So that's what you're also looking for. And then, of course, do not forget to reapply it a couple of hours later. Or if you've been exercising or swimming, good to reapply it even sooner than that. The other thing to remember, there's a few points on the body. Don't forget. Okay, so number 1, put it on your lips. Right? The tip of your nose. That's a big spot. Your ears, the top of your feet, and the top of your hands. So keep those in mind for sure. And of course, don't forget your children. They need to do all of this as well. In fact, Dr. Arlette says if you can prevent your child from getting a sunburn before the age of 14, you are dramatically reducing their chance of ever getting skin cancer.
That is a great challenge to put out there for parents.
Yeah, it's a great challenge for parents, absolutely.
Okay, what about the vitamin D that the sun naturally provides?
Yes,
we need that.
We do need that, and we need that a lot in Canada for sure. So I asked Dr. Arlette that very question. He says, really, it's not a lot. He says you only need to expose 15% of your surface area for 15 minutes once a week to get that vitamin D. So that's about the back of your hand, really. That's all you need to expose for about 15 minutes. He said you're better off just to get a supplement from the drugstore. He says that's the best way to get all the vitamin D you need.
Okay, more information on your blog.
All on my blog, you bet.
breakfasttelevision.ca, the way to find health specialist Leah Sarich. Thank you very much for this. We're going to check in with Jill Bellin. She is